Hello, folks. Welcome to our E for B show. You know, there's a word that scientists, inventors, and maybe even you have shouted in a moment of brilliant discovery. Today, we're going to unpack the incredible true story behind that word, Eureka.
Yeah, it's a word we all kind of know. But do you know the story behind it? It's a fantastic tale involving a suspicious king, a golden crown, and, believe it or not, a bathtub that literally changed the course of science. And it all starts with one of the greatest minds of the ancient world. So let's go back in time to the ancient Greek city of Syracuse. Our story centers on a man named Archimedes. And listen, he wasn't just any citizen. He was one of those rare geniuses whose mind just seemed to be wired differently from everyone else's.
Living way back in the 2nd century BC, Archimedes was what you'd call a true polymath. I mean, the guy was a philosopher, a brilliant mathematician, a physicist, an engineer, and an inventor. His work was so groundbreaking that a lot of people still think of him as the greatest scientist of antiquity.
Now, every great story needs a great problem, right? And this one kicks off with a king, a brand new crown, and a really nagging suspicion. The ruler of Syracuse, King Hieron II, decided he wanted a new crown to honor the gods. So he gave a goldsmith a very specific amount of pure gold and told him to create a masterpiece. And when the crown was delivered, it was absolutely magnificent. But the king, he was a sharp guy, and a thought started to bubble up. Had the craftsman cheated him? Could he have mixed in a cheaper metal, maybe like silver, and just pocketed the extra gold? So the king went to the smartest person he knew, Archimedes. He gave him a very tricky challenge. Figure out if the crown is pure gold, but, and this is the kicker, you can't damage the crown in any way.
And that was the real problem. I mean, Archimedes couldn't just melt the crown down to see what was inside. He was completely stuck, and you can bet this problem was eating away at him.
This puzzle just took over his life. He was thinking about it day and night, wrestling with it, but the answer was nowhere to be found. He was totally and utterly stumped. And then, one day, the answer showed up in the most ordinary place you can imagine, his bathtub. As he was getting into a full tub, he watched the water spill over the sides, and in a flash, it just clicked. He realized that the amount of water that spilled out was exactly equal to the volume of his body that went in. That was it. That was the key. He could use this exact method to find the volume of the crown without leaving a single scratch on it. He was so completely blown away by this discovery, so excited, that he just lost it. He jumped right out of the bath and, started running through the streets of Syracuse, stark naked, shouting for everyone to hear. So what was he shouting? Eureka! Eureka! Which in Greek means something really simple but so powerful. I have found it. He'd done it. He'd found the solution.
All right, so with this amazing insight, it was time to move from a bathtub revelation to a real scientific experiment.
The experiment he came up with was just brilliant, because it was so simple. See, he knew that pure gold has a specific density. So, if he took a chunk of pure gold that weighed exactly the same as the crown, it should also have the exact same volume, and it should push out the exact same amount of water. But when he actually did the experiment, the results were crystal clear. The crown displaced more water than the solid gold block. So, what does that mean? It meant that for the same weight, the crown was actually bigger. It had more volume. And more volume for the same mass means it's less dense. Since silver is less dense than gold, this was stone-cold proof that the craftsman had mixed in a cheaper metal. The verdict was in. The goldsmith was a cheat. But this story is so much bigger than just catching a dishonest craftsman. This one experiment actually gave birth to a fundamental law of physics. This discovery became known as Archimedes' principle. It's the law of buoyancy, and it's what explains why things float. Basically, any object in a fluid, like water, gets an upward push that's equal to the weight of the fluid it moves out of the way.
And why does this matter to us today? Well, this principle is absolutely essential. It's why massive steel ships can float, it's how submarines can dive and then come back up, and it's even why hot air balloons are able to rise up into the sky.
It's really kind of amazing to think about. From such a simple, everyday moment, one of the greatest scientific minds in history stumbled upon a principle that we still rely on thousands of years later. It's a great reminder, isn't it?
sometimes the best solutions don't come from forcing it. So the next time you're stuck on a really tough problem, maybe you should take a page out of Archimedes' book. Just step away, maybe take a relaxing bath. Who knows, what brilliant ideas might just float to the surface.
And if you do have that brilliant aha moment, just a little friendly advice from me to you, maybe don't run naked through the streets. But by all means, you have absolutely earned the right to shout Eureka as loud as you want. Thank you for joining us this far, and until our next episode, bye!